Hey, soldiers, Target's losing a lot of money, just like Bud Light, but let's get into it. Is this all because of the boycott due to them marketing certain merchandise, or is it something else, or is it a combination of the two? We're going to dive into it. This, as you know, all has to do with the controversy that Target finds themselves involved in. They've gone out and consorted with the likes of BlackRock and, you know, gotten into the whole ESG, DEI dance, and this kind of stuff, you know, doesn't translate into just 100% public acceptance, all right? Seems like the public just wants you to sell your wares and keep it moving, all right? Not try to, you know, get into the weeds of any particular political event or focus too heavily on any one demographic. All right. So look, guys, before we get into this and before we take a good long look at what really is the issue behind Target losing all this money and whether or not you should, you know, maybe look at them to invest in. Before we do that, I want to encourage you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Listen, you hit subscribe, you enlist. You let me know you did so. I will salute you in the comments. You're going to love it. Go ahead and become a subscriber. Hit the thumbs up. You guys do a wonderful job of that. I'm so grateful that you all take the time to do that. Please continue. And I want you to hit that join button. Hit that join button and figure out what we're doing over in the Officers Club members section. I'm telling you right now, it is such a value and it's going to keep you on the road to financial independence. It's going to be one of the best investments you ever made from a return on investment standpoint. Now, why can't companies just come out and say, hey, I'm going to play celebrity endorser. And look, maybe this will work to my advantage. Maybe this will be kind of, you know, my casting call. Buy this beer. It tastes good. All right. Why can't they just do something like that, right? Now, what I just did, I would hope it appeals to everyone with taste buds, no matter who you're sleeping with, right? No matter what your political affiliation is, right? But companies have to, what pension funds, 401ks, apparently some sovereign wealth funds, what they want to see is less profit, apparently, and more genuflection toward affinity groups, okay? Philosophies like diversity, equity, and inclusion, or environmental social governance. Forget the money, okay? And that is bad news for you, the investing public. But that's apparently what they're going for. So we've got a Target executive who is weighing in on why Target's got to be in millions of portfolios out there, okay? Whether it be directly owned, okay? I know people who own stock in Target directly. And I know people who own it, a lot of people who own it in mutual funds and index funds, right? I own it by virtue of an index fund. Target loses $10 billion in 10 days as stocks fall following boycott over the LGBTQ kid-friendly clothing. All right, let's talk about LGBTQ clothing. I know gay people, and I have never seen one of them wearing something like that says, I'm gay. Okay, I don't know the right gay people. Maybe there is a market for this stuff. Or maybe these buyers for brands like Target are pressured to go out and put stuff on the shelf in order to broadcast this diversity, equity, and inclusion process and procedure that they're endeavoring in for the likes of Vanguard and BlackRock and State Street, right? I don't know. Weigh in the comments. Do you see folk who are gay wearing stuff that says, I am gay, or whatever, okay? Gay people wear clothes just like everybody else. At least that's been my experience. I don't know. What's yours? Target has lost $10 billion in 10 days. Okay, that's a handsome ransom. Target enjoyed its stock value a few weeks ago, $160.96 a share. But following the calls to boycott the Minneapolis-based retailer over its Pride collection, the value plummeted and closed Friday at $138.93 per share. Since that time, it's actually down even further. It's in the early 130s, around 133 right now. The nearly 14% more than that drop in value for the blue chip stock roughly translates into $10.1 billion in loss of value. So they're having some money shaved off of, their market cap as well. We see. And look, when this happens, guys, it could be. Same with Anheuser-Busch. It could be a sign to take a look in terms of whether or not this thing's at a bargain, might be able to pick up some shares. Maybe. Now, that presupposes that you want to ally your political views with, or you don't mind uncoupling your political views from your investment decisions. And look, I'm not 100% comfortable with doing that. You guys know I divested and sold all of my JP Morgan because Jamie Dimon came out and said that he thought that companies and government should be able to take private property in the name of climate change. So I said, man, I'm not with that. And I sold out. So it's up to you, is what I'm saying. The plummet stands as the retailer's lowest stock price. They're at the low. They're at the 3-year low. A little more than that. The last time the company saw a drop nearly this big came in 2022 after stocks equalized following the pandemic. So you've got that. We're going to get to that. Executives is saying, look, I have looked at this and said, look, this is the reason why this is happening to Target, their former executive. It's a gentleman by the name of, what's his name? Gerald Storch. Okay, so he's the former Target executive, revealing the one item that sparked consumer firestorm. Target has seen a significant drop in its market value. The controversy follows a boycott against Bud Light due to their decision to market products with a transgender social media influencer. Former Target vice chairman Gerald Storch, so this guy was high placed, he revealed the one item that made the difference against the competition and sparked the backlash. He explained that many retailers carry Pride merchandise. He says, the plates that had different colors in it, fine, you show the rainbow, a gingerbread house, whatever you are, that's all, who cares? Everybody carries that stuff, unquote. Storch targeted one item from the store's Pride collection that set it apart from its competition and ignited a consumer firestorm. He says, I've never seen a case where one item, that tuck swimsuit, that's really what made the difference versus the competitors. That's where the big mistake was, said the former Target executive. Now, about that swimsuit, the former executive shared an example of how he handled the controversy of Babies R Us. The swimsuit that they're talking about was a tuck-friendly swimsuit. You're adults here, you know what I'm talking about. But it was for children, okay? Which is like, who made this? What the hell were they thinking? And what the hell was Target's buyers thinking when they brought this into the store, okay? Let's be real here. There are still adult-only appropriate themes in this world, right? And there should be. There certainly should be. Let children be children and enjoy the brief period of fun and innocence that they have if they're lucky, okay? Some children live horrendous lives. God help them. But if you've got just your garden variety kid out there, I remember as a kid growing up in the 80s, it was great, okay? I mean, it was fantastic, all right? And I swear to you, some of this stuff that they're exposing children to today, I didn't get introduced to this, know what the hell it was until I was in college. Okay, I remember my little clique in college. We hung out at this place called the Rathskeller. It was a basement eatery in the college. Oh, we had, just so many good discussions there, and we would all meet there after class. So there was a guy, we didn't hang out with this guy. He just happened to be a gay guy, okay? But he was on the periphery, all right? And he came to us one day, sat down at the table, and we discussed some class or whatever. But he got to the point that he wanted to make, and he said, you guys don't like me because I'm gay. And we were like, we barely even know you. But listen, buddy, there are 2.3 women on this campus for every man. So the fact that you're not interested in any of them, that is good news for us. So therefore, we don't have a problem with you at all, brother. Okay. So he actually got a kick out of that. All right. So I just raised that point because, this is being taken to the nth degree, and gay people have been involved in the society forever, and now we're hyper focused on a sexual proclivity. All right. We are focusing on that so intently. And I know gay people, they must be thinking, look, yeah, this is my sexual preference, but, I'm really into quantum physics, and I've made some breakthroughs over there. All right. Or I'm really into, racing cars, or doing this or doing that. This is just one aspect of my life. It's how they do black people. Okay. Focusing on the color of our skin instead of saying, oh, wow, he's an astronaut. They'll say, he's a black astronaut. No, I'm an astronaut. Okay. It's not like I'm special because of the color of my skin. You're setting me apart, and you're doing so in a very condescending way, whether you know it or not. So to label me as something other than an astronaut, okay, not a gay astronaut, an astronaut. Hey, man, I'm going to the moon. Who I'm sleeping with is irrelevant. All right. We've got to stop this. These corporations, the media, government is the biggest purveyor of division in the world. We've got to stop this, okay, people? Because if we look at it, we don't live our private lives the way the government and corporations and the media will have you believe we do. If we lived according to their narrative, everybody be at each other's throats. I was standing in the Dunkin' Donuts the other day, and there's a white lady coming out. She's got a cup in her hand, and there's a young man, okay, young black man. He opens the door for her. He opens the inner door. And then he sees she's struggling, so he opens the outer door for her. Now, the media would have you believe that this is a situation that never occurs, right? Because her family owned slaves, and his family, they were slaves. So we got to be at each other's throats, right? So this is what Target, it's a long roundabout way of explaining how Target and all of these other corporations out there are missing the mark, okay? They're not reading the actual room. I just want to go into Target, buy what I want, and leave. All right? I'm not looking for Target to be some social justice warrior and right all the wrongs. I'm looking for them to have whatever the hell I need at a reasonable price. Okay? And then I'm looking at them to be a performer in terms of their stock performance if I own shares in the company. Right? To be 100% honest and fair, the total loss of Target's value may not be due solely to this controversy. There are some other things going on. And this is where we get into thinking about buying the stock. Maybe the company's market value has taken a tumble since mid-May, with a decline over, at this point, $12 billion. Okay. We were reading from an earlier story where it was $10 billion. 2 weeks after that, where we are now, it has lost another $2 billion. They're at $12 billion. Target's decline in stock actually began on May 18th. That's the day Walmart reported a 7% gain in comp store sales on the prior day. Okay. Target had reported flat sales, year flat at Target, up 7 at Walmart. There's no way that comparison looks good, right? So that's a fundamental business problem at Target that existed just prior to the introduction of the item in question, that then sent, okay, so you had poor performance in comparison to Walmart, and then you compounded that by pissing off the customer base that was still with you, that hadn't fled for Walmart just yet. Quote, the consumer is feeling very stressed by the environment, by inflation, and Target is known as the upscale discounter. So it's not good to be the upscale discounter at a time when the consumer doesn't have a lot of money to spend. So they're migrating more to Walmart, and that's a huge problem. And Target just made it huger, okay? I'll bring back a Bushism. And I can do that because on this channel, I am the decider, right? Another Bushism for you. While there's no doubt the boycott is part of the problem, if you read the reports about Target during this period and the analysts, keep in mind related to investors who are the ones who are buying things about the stock, or in this case, probably selling picks amount of stock. God, man, these people can't talk. What the hell are you talking about? He's just basically saying that the analysts are more concerned with the business fundamentals. Absolutely. But we cannot ignore the fact that you may have, maybe we're looking at the creation of a new business fundamental when we factor in a company's focus on ESG and DEI. Okay. Is this something, depends on the company, right? If you're a company like Ben & Jerry's who has a built-in liberal audience that love them to death, then maybe this works well, all right? Or Nike, they're typically more left-leaning, the customer base. But you got to be careful. You got to know your customer, because if you don't, you could wind up in a situation like Bud and Target. Storch noted that Target's investors are watching very, very carefully and want to know the impact on sales. Target certainly didn't handle this well, either going in or trying to deal with it on the way out. But I think over time, this is not going to be a big issue for them. He may be right. So it may be a case where now's the time to start evaluating if you are so inclined to do so. If you believe these companies are going to look at Target and they're going to look at Anheuser-Busch and say, let's put the brakes on some of this stuff because it's not winning us any money. Or maybe they'll be like Disney and just keep on pushing it. I think a lot more is going on with Disney. I think they're just so rabid about this. They know their audience is children, but they keep pushing certain narratives at that company. And haven't been working well for them. So we'll see, right? In the meantime, listen, we got another company, Apple. Apple has a leftist kind of base in terms of its customers as well. This kind of DEI stuff that might make them. Apple's customers are the type that will wear a Che Guevara t-shirt. Mind you, Apple is a multi-trillion-dollar company. This set wears Che Guevara t-shirts, and they go to protest economics in Central Park. Remember the whole Occupy Wall Street thing? And there was so many of those guys who had iPhones and iPads, okay, protesting evil capitalism. Apple didn't give those away, trust me. So look, I want you to watch this. Apple opened a high yield savings account alongside Goldman Sachs. They partnered on this, and it's not going well. Watch the video, find out more. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.